One day I woke up and I said, hey, I want to find out about my dad. I am such a fatherless child. And the thought just was on my heart. So I said, I'm going to go find him. And I documented that whole entire journey on YouTube. If you follow me on YouTube, you've seen that journey. I knew that my father was deceased. I did know that part, but I didn't know anything about him. And I only have two memories of my dad. The first memory is this picture here. I know that I had to be about 7 years old. I know that we was at some sort of birthday party, but I don't remember anything. That's all I remember. The second memory I have, I had to be around 12 years old, and they said, hey, your dad passed away. And they didn't take me to like a funeral or like a wake. They took me to like a celebration of life. I was 12. It was in a community center in the projects. I don't remember any faces, anyone. Don't remember what happened. That's all I remember. During the journey of finding him, these are the things that I found out. I found out his name was Mark C. Goodman. I found out his date of birth was in May, which my birthday is in May as well. I didn't know the date, but I know that he was born 1956. I know that he lived at 55, don't know if I'm saying it right, 55 La Selle Street, apartment 3I, and that's in Manhattan. That's the projects. I can't remember the name of the projects, but I know it's the projects. I did find out he had one living relative. His living relative name was Milton Goodman. He lived at 342 West 71st Street in Manhattan. When I found out he had a living relative, I decided to go to that living relative's address. What about if he don't want to talk to me? What about if he don't want to see me? What about if he doesn't want anything to do with me? What about if this man cursed me out? What about if this man have all these beautiful baby pictures of me and all these memories of me with my dad, and he could tell me that my dad loved me so much and how he's been searching for me for so long. And we started to get closer and closer to the building. I went there. It was really nice, YT neighborhood. Love that for him. And I went, and they told me like, hey, he's been living here for like 50 something years. He's a very older man. He's a long-time resident. I told them my situation. They said, hey, go knock on his door. So I went and I knocked on his door. I made sure I had proof in my hand. Like, I had the pictures in my hand. I was ready to meet him. Like, I was so excited. So I knocked and I knocked and I knocked, and no answer. So his neighbor door was open. I went to his neighbor. It was a really older man. He was like, yeah, he's there. I usually see him every day. I haven't seen him for a couple days, but yeah, that's the person that lived there. So I wrote a letter and I left the letter on the door. Upon leaving, there was a lady who worked there. I guess she's like the super or whoever. I don't know who she is. But she had his number, so she gave me his number. When I got enough courage to call, it went straight to voicemail. Called about 50 times, it went to voicemail. Next day, 50 times, it went to voicemail. So I decided to go back because I wanted to see, if I can meet him again. Upon returning, the lady said, yeah, well, unfortunately, he was here, but he was in his room deceased. So that was like, the only living relative I knew about. So then I decided to like reach out to family members. I'm not really in contact with my family. I'm a loner. So I decided to reach out to some older family members, and everybody was like being weird, like not really telling me nothing. Even though I know they knew something, they just was like brushing me off, like not really telling me nothing. So I'm like, you know what? Frustrating. I'm going to continue on this journey myself. So as I continued on to this journey, someone reached out to me, an older family member, and it was just like, listen, you want to know what you want to know? This is what nobody wanted to tell you. But they said your dad, he was a drug dealer in Harlem. He was this really big drug dealer. The crack era hit different. And ultimately, he ended up getting your mom addicted to drugs. Your mom was this perfect, amazing lady before she met your dad. And he's the one who got your mom addicted to drugs. This is the only photo that I have of my mom and my dad. And if you guys don't know, my mom passed away due to a drug overdose. So they was like, there you have it, if that's what you want to know. And I was just like, you know what? Maybe this journey should end here. I don't need no more trauma. I got enough in my life. But now that I don't have a mom, a dad, it's just, my children and myself, I really think all the time, like, I could be walking past my sister. Like, I could be looking at my brother. This could be my niece or my nephew. Like it just weighs heavy on my heart. And I don't know where to start.